Welcome to Branding 101 for early stage startups. Create, sustain, and grow. I am Sneha Lundia, the founder and CEO of Step to Growth, a growth accelerator helping startups scale. As a startup mentor and advisor, I have supported more than 300 startups with branding, positioning, go to market, lead generation, and business development. For all my work with startups, I was honored as the Women of Influence by Silicon Valley Business Journal and was also recognized as one of the 10 most admired women in business. I'm a contributor in Forbes and a part of their business council. With over a decade of experience as a startup marketing strategist, I have supported startups that have exited, and there have been a few that have not done so well. While there could be many reasons why one startup succeeds and the other does not, you can find a few common things which one did and the other did not do. We all know that 9 out of 10 startups fail today, and 42% of them due to poor marketing, not finding a product market fit, or lack of research. And I am here to change that. I bring with me my wins and losses to help you learn from them and enable you to reach your startup's full potential. So let's get started and talk a little bit about brand. Any brand consists of different pieces which work together to create your brand's image. This includes logo, name, colors, font, tone, and personality. And we'll discuss each of these in detail. So let's talk a little bit about what is brand identity. A brand identity is made up of what your brand says, what your values are, how you communicate your product, and what you want people to feel when they interact with it. Essentially, your brand identity is the personality of your business and a promise to your customers. It's actually the face of your business. Your brand identity helps build credibility. Having a brand identity doesn't just make your product or company more memorable, it makes your brand more authoritative in the marketplace. A brand that establishes a face and maintains that face consistently over time develops credibility amongst its competitors and trust amongst its customers. It helps you create impressions. So your brand identity should be used as a template for everything you would include to promote your business, whether that is advertisements, content, video, graphics, be it digital or print. A brand with a face and industry credibility is well prepared to promote itself and make impressions on potential buyers. It should resonate with your company's mission. When you create an identity for your brand, you are giving it something to stand for. That in turn becomes your company's purpose. Your identity should resonate with that purpose. This will help you create credibility, trust, and loyalty. And finally, it helps you generate new customers and delight existing ones. A brand identity, one with a face, trust, and mission, attracts people who agree with what your brand has to offer. But once these people become your customers, that same brand identity gives them a sense of belongingness. So, a good product generates customers, but a good brand generates advocates. If you want your brand to become a well-known and beloved brand, it's going to take some work. So let's look at some steps that will help you build a credible brand. So the first step in creating a good brand identity is research. Research your audience, value proposition, and competition, just like you do in any other aspect of your business. The first step of creating a great brand is to do a complete market research. You should clarify and understand these 4 main things. First is your audience. It's no secret that different people want different things. And you can't usually target a product to a preteen the same way you would target a product to a college student. So learning what your audience wants from your business in your industry is vital to creating a brand that people love. Second is research your competition. What makes your business unique in your industry? What can you offer your consumers that others can't? Knowing the difference between you and your competition is imperative to developing a successful brand. Keeping an eye on your competitors will also educate you on what branding techniques work well and those that do not. Next is focusing on your messaging. You know what your business offers, but be sure to have a clear and direct message that describes your vision and goals. In other words, know and explain your business's purpose. You cannot create a personality for a business unless you know what that business is really about. And finally, do some research on the kind of personality you would want to create for this brand. Even though you're not necessarily branding an individual, that doesn't mean that you can't be personable when developing a brand image. Use your fonts, colors, imagery to represent who the brand is. Enhance that visual representation with your tone of voice. The next step in creating a great brand is creating your brand design. This includes your name, logo, color, and type or font. So the name is one of the most critical pieces of your brand's identity. It's going to be how your customers will refer to your brand. Logo, although is not the entirety of your brand identity, it's one of the most vital elements in the branding process. It's the most recognizable part of your brand, and it is going to be on everything: your website, business cards, content, digital, print. So with your logo on all these elements, your brand should always look cohesive. Color. Creating a color palette is a way to enhance your identity. It provides you with variety so that you can create unique designs for your business while remaining faithful to the brand identity. And type or font. Now, type or font are generally used for all the text which you're going to create around your brand. But type can also be a double-edged sword if not utilized properly. Although mix and match type design has become quite the trend, that doesn't mean mixing a handful of fonts is necessarily a good idea for your business. In your logo, on your website, and on any documents that your business creates, be it digital or print, there should be consistency in terms of the typography used. So let's look at how to create each one of these elements in a little more detail. Let's talk about names. So here are some good qualities in a name. 1, it should be suggestive. That is, it should give customers a hint of what you are going to offer. So some examples are Step to Growth, MailChimp, PayPal. They should be easy to remember or memorable, like Starbucks, Nike, Amazon are great examples of names. Imagery. So the name should create an image in your mind. This also makes it easy to remember. So example, Target, Apple, Shell. You can have names that are theme based. So they are not restrictive and have the possibility to expand. Example is Holiday Inn, Frito-Lay. And a good name would also be emotional. So it will hit on some emotional nerves, like, and examples are Pampers or Calm or Credit Karma. Now there are a few things which you would want to avoid when it comes to names. Avoid spelling challenged names. These create confusion and can also lead your audience to another company's website. Do not be a copycat. Same name with a different spelling should always be avoided. Again, it can create confusion and also lead your audience to a different brand or a competitor's brand. Don't make your name very restrictive. A restrictive name will not have room for expansion. So a theme-based name is better than a restrictive name. Avoid using jargons. Using jargons in your name restricts your audience to people who are aware of that specific industry terminology. And do not keep names which are hard to pronounce. Names that are hard to pronounce are also hard to remember and hard to search for. So choose names that are easy to pronounce and memorable. When creating or getting a logo designed, there are three most important things. First, you want your logo to be memorable. Second, you want your logo to be relatable. And third, you want it to be relevant to your name. So here are a few examples of logos which we at Step to Growth have created for our customers. Let's talk about colors. Colors play a vitally important role in the world in which we live. Colors can sway thinking, change actions, and cause reaction. As a powerful form of communication, color is irreplaceable. Red means stop and green means go. Traffic lights send this universal message. Likewise, the colors used for a product, website, business card, or logo cause powerful reactions. So basically, colors matter. Let's look at the most common color buckets and the emotions they create. Red. Red evokes a passionate and intuitive response. It is a color that increases your heart rate, makes you breathe faster, and is generally associated with energy, excitement, and passion. It's one of the colors that is attention grabbing while it can also be provocative and excitable. Purple. Purple is sophisticated yet mysterious. It tends to be used with higher end products due to its association with royalty and elegance. Purple's mysterious element is also linked with spirituality, and it can bring a magical element to your brand. Blue is one of the most popular color choices of the top brands. It is thought to put people at ease as it reminds them of the sky and the ocean. Blue is also associated with trust, security, and confidence, which make a great combination for the brands that want these elements in their message. Green is a color that is synonymous with calmness, safety, and freshness. Its various shades can create a unique brand identity for your company. Green tends to be associated with health along with the feelings of peace and serenity. Yellow is a popular color choice for brands that want to evoke a feeling of positivity in their identity. Its association with sun on its different shadows brings out hope and optimism. Yellow also stands out among other colors, which makes a yellow brand identity creative and appealing. Orange makes an ideal color choice for brands that want to blend the optimism and brightness of yellow and the passion and energy of red. It is a creative and cheerful color that evokes a friendly and adventurous feeling. Brown represents the earth's simplicity and is usually preferred to reflect stability and strength. It's comforting in its simplicity and is preferred by brands that want to be classical and trustworthy without proceeding to bold moves. Brown is associated with the earth and can also remind people of dirt, so that needs to be used carefully, especially if it stands out as the main color for your brand. Black is another popular color option for brands, and it tends to be one of the most classical options. It's both classic and sophisticated, and it can make a brand identity stand out. It seems to work perfectly with luxury products, blending the classic and powerful elements. Black is one of those colors that can be combined with other colors to add a stronger emotion without losing the classical appeal. And finally, white represents simplicity, purity, and also cleanliness. These three make it extremely popular in the healthcare sector and in the cleaning business, but also in the child-related business. White can also bring out a feeling of trust by tapping into purity and simplicity. Based on the survey of the top 100 brands, here are some fun findings about colors. Blue seems to be the winning color as it shows up in 33% of these 100 brands. Red comes second by showing up in 29% of these brands. Black or grayscale make the third most popular choice, with 28% of brands having them. 13% of the brands actually use yellow or gold. 95% of these top 100 brands use only one or at max two colors. So I'm going to show you a few color palettes which we've created for different brands to give you an idea in terms of how to think about creating your brand's color palette. For Step to Growth, we wanted to create a brand that showcases trust, passion, and motivation. Hence, the colors red, blue, and yellow were chosen as the primary colors, while we had a set of few secondary colors to just complement them and give us better design options. Cardiac Cloud is a cloud-based solution for monitoring and analyzing cardiovascular activities in patients of all age groups. So the brand image to be portrayed was that it was a healthcare company you could trust, hence the blue and the green. And red was added to grab attention and also due to the fact that blood is red colored. Two other shades of blue were used as secondary colors just to have more options and also add a little bit of impact. Aquila is another one of our customers and they have an AI ML based solution for fraud detection and prevention. And for them, building trust and showcasing positivity was the core value, and hence the color blue and yellow were the main focus for their brand identity. Now let's talk about fonts. There are mainly 6 families of fonts, and we'll talk about each one of them in a little bit of detail along with examples so that you can better understand and choose the font which makes sense for your brand. So the first font family is serif fonts. These are the oldest font style, originating way back in the 15th century. They are named for the feet called serifs seen at the top and bottom of each letter. Because serif fonts are the original font style, we generally perceive them as classic, traditional, and trustworthy. And some examples of brands who've used this are Time, Vogue, and Tiffany. The next font family is sans serif. Sans serif fonts don't emerge until the 19th century, so they are more recent than the traditional serif fonts and they tend to be perceived as more modern. Sans serif fonts are much simpler in the form than serif fonts, so they tend to evoke a sense of cleanliness and aid in giving you a minimalistic design. They are generally seen in logos of new technology companies, and examples would be Google, Netflix, Facebook, and Spotify. The next font family is slab serifs. Slab serifs, a special breed of serif fonts, feature larger, blockier serifs. As a result, they look a bit more rugged, bold, and quirky than traditional serif fonts. These type of fonts work well with companies with a long and proven history of producing quality products, but who still want to appear current. Examples would be Volvo, Sony, and Honda. Next are script fonts. These are elegant font designs to imitate cursive handwriting, have character strokes that connect one letter to the next. Just as everyone's handwriting looks very unique, each script font feels very distinctive. They tend to follow the design trends of the day, making script fonts a riskier choice for a brand font, as they might fall out of fashion too quickly. In spite of that, there have been brands like Ford, Instagram, Cadillac, and Johnson & Johnson who've stood the test of time. Handwritten fonts. Handwritten fonts are pretty self-explanatory. These are fonts that look like they've been written out by hand. They are a fun choice if you want to present yourself as a playful, informal, approachable, or artistic brand. And finally, there are decorative fonts. Decorative fonts are the most diverse. They include any font that uses unique shapes, forms, or proportions for a highly stylized look, such as graffiti fonts. The logos of Lego, IBM, and Disney feature distinctive decorative fonts that make their brands especially memorable. Here are a few examples of brand kits we've created for ourselves and our customers. While creating these, our focus has been to create something that resonated with their audience while staying true to the values of a company. Step to Growth is a growth accelerator helping startups scale. Since our audience are startup leaders, we wanted our brand to be attention-grabbing, trustworthy, and modern. Hence the colors blue, red, and yellow were chosen, while modern font like sans serif was chosen. With relevant clean icons and illustrative imagery, we created a brand that is relatable to startups. Bright People is one of our customers. They are a leading talent builder and recruiting firm for early stage tech startups in Silicon Valley and beyond. We help them with finalizing their company name, logo, color palette, font, icons, and images. Another customer of ours is Club King. Club King provides interactive bridge classes and supervised playgroups to seniors. We created their logo and other brand identity elements like color palette, font, and icons. SJVHC, a non-profit, promotes affordable housing for the San Juan region by leading policy advocacy through systemic change, fostering partnerships, and innovative solutions. We worked with them to create a brand identity that resonated with not only the target audience but all other stakeholders. This included logo design, colors, fonts, and icons. For images, we proposed that they use their existing images to create relatability with their audience. So far, we've discussed about the first two steps in creating a great brand identity. The first is research, and the second is design, which includes creating a good name, your logo, your colors, and the font. So the next step in creating a great brand identity is integrating. When it comes to integrating this newly created brand identity with so many moving pieces, the key here is consistency. You want to make sure that everything that goes out of your company, be it digital or print, has to be consistent in terms of the look, feel, and messaging. So whether you're going to events, have things on social media, your website, any form of emails going out, any collaterals you've created, presentations or videos, all of them should look the same and also have the same form of messaging. And finally, the last step in creating a great brand identity is to actually monitor what's going on. A successful brand is created when you monitor its perception and use the information to your advantage. Monitor your brand to maintain its brand identity. Similar to other aspects of your marketing, it's difficult to know what you're doing right and what you're not without tracking key performance metrics. Use Google Analytics, surveys, comments, social media discussions to monitor your brand and get a sense of how people talk about and interact with you. This will give you the opportunity to implement changes to your brand as needed, whether it's to correct a mistake or to improve. So while there are so many things that you need to do, there are a few things that you really need to avoid. Don't give your customers mixed messages. Know what you want to say and use the appropriate language and visuals to say it. Do not copy your competitors. Your competition may have exemplary branding, and since you're selling the same product or service, you might want to do what is working for them. But don't do that. Take what they do into account and put your own twist on it to make sure that your business stands out in your industry and is not confused with your competitors. Do not lose consistency between online and offline. Your print might look a little different because of change in maybe color or font format, but make sure that the overall look and feel and language you use is consistent in terms of your online presence and your offline physical presence. Creating a memorable brand requires consistent use of fonts, color, images, and language, but it's all worth it. When consumers instantly recognize who you are and what you stand for, all based on just your brand identity, you've become more than just a name and a symbol. Finally, I want to discuss a few tools that have helped us in our journey towards creating a great brand identity for ourselves and our customers. First is tools to help you with your name. Name Studio is a great site to get inspiration for names. Look at the brainstorming tab to find relatable keywords along with domain availability. Google Images. You would be surprised at ideas that Google Images can generate. Type in your product result or short description and see what pops up. It's a good starting point. In fact, we came up with Step to Growth's logo with the help of Google Images. Tools to help you with colors. Coolers is a great tool to find trending color palette and create new ones too. We used a trending color palette as a starting point and modified it to create Step to Growth's identity. Colormind.io is great to see how a sample website would look in your set of colors. So go to colormind.io, and if you go to the website colors tab and just add in the 5 brand colors, it will show you a sample website. It's pretty cool. And finally, if you like a particular color on a website, you can use the eyedropper extension in Google Chrome browser to get the respective hex number for that color. And finally, fonts. At an early stage, do not spend a lot of money on buying a font. Pick a font from Google Fonts. If you like a font on another website, you can use the What font extension in Google Chrome browser to get the name of the font. If the font is not a free font, I'll suggest to find a similar free font and use that initially. And finally, I love this quote by Jeff Bezos. Remember that branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room.